We are breaking down UFC London. Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes. I'm Chris from Equity Sports Analytics, and I'm back to give you 8 best bets for this Saturday's matinee card. We are unique in that we're professional sports bettors, and we know nothing about MMA, nothing about sports. We are simply looking at the casinos. We are doing math. We are seeing where they are shying away from certain bets. We're seeing where they're leaning in to certain plays that people are putting money down. Just like in poker, you watch the man and not the cards. We are watching the casinos because they have the best research teams. We are not watching the fighters. Being a fan sometimes can hurt your betting on things because lines are devised to trap players who are very knowledgeable about sports. Anyway, let's get started with the first fight that we are recommending a bet on here. We have Oezdemir versus Paul Craig. Line opened up at Pinnacle, which is the truest reflection of the market. Pinnacle has the most money involved in it, the truest prices. If you've been wondering why in the last year or so your EV has gone down with legalization of sports, more money in markets, it's just a mathematical principle, an economic principle. It means that there's a truer price. The market price is more true, and thus your EV will go down because there's not as many incorrect lines as there used to be. So you're just going to have to be a sharper player going forward. Whatever you got before, you're going to have to work 1.5 times harder to just achieve that. So tough times ahead, but it means that we got to be sharp, and there's more and more information out there how to be a sharp bettor, and so we're all getting better all the time if we're disciplined and working on that. Oezdemir right now is 1.61 at Pinnacle. He opened at 1.74. We look at the sharp experts that are giving out advice. This is one of the fights. It's very unusual, actually, if an underdog has even 50% of the recommendations. That's the case here. 50% of the experts are recommending betting on Craig. And so we have reverse line movement. We have 1.74. Oezdemir opened as the favorite. He's down to 1.61, which means there's massive line movement on Oezdemir, meaning that everyone betting $500 is betting on Oezdemir. Everyone betting $50 is betting on Craig. We are taking Oezdemir. 2.38 units to win 1.5. If he can avoid that miracle triangle, then he's going to win this fight. Oezdemir has great takedown defense. Now, Paul Craig has been beating everybody who's a favorite. He's been the underdog in countless fights lately, and he keeps winning. It still doesn't matter if if you're betting on a coin flip and it comes up heads 10 times in a row, it still is a 50-50 chance of coming up heads on the next time. So you don't want to flip your bet. We are still we are banking on the fact that a favorite is going to get him, and that favorites right now are undervalued against Paul Craig. Take Oezdemir. 2.38 units to win 1.5. Second bet, and it's on this fight as well. We're taking the under 2.5. We love these spots where we have a contrast of styles. Oezdemir's the striker. Craig is the jiu-jitsu grappler. Whoever gets their thing going is going to look like a 5-1 favorite here. So we are laying 3 units to win 1.5. Right now, Bet365 has the best price. 1.5 is the price at Bet365. And so 3 units to win 1.5. We're very confident that there's going to be violence in this fight. Next bet, parlay of the week, Meatball Molly McCann. She is facing... she's facing Hannah Goldie. We think that she has a giant advantage here. You can still find value at 1.25 here. It's very unlikely. This fight is overwhelmingly going to go to decision. She's high volume. Very unlikely that the judges are going to give Goldie a decision in London. McCann can also finish this fight. We're combining her with Mark Jakedzi. He has a massive advantage in his fight over Damir Hadzovic. You combine them together, 1.67, 3 units to win 2. That's our parlay of the week. We're inserting another parlay, Mason Jones and Paddy the Baddy. This is a favorite heavy card, and these are the 4 favorites that we think have the most value. So the second parlay is Mason Jones versus Paddy the Baddy. And Paddy the Baddy, he says that he's a scouser and he doesn't get knocked out. I told you once, and I'll tell you again, I'm a scouser. We don't get knocked out. So you combine Paddy the Baddy and Mason Jones, you can get a price of 1.81. We're laying 2.47 units to win 2. We think that that's a fairly safe parlay. Next fight, we have Nicholas Dalby against Claudio Silva. We are not taking one of the fighters in this fight. We're taking the over 2.5 rounds. It has an implied odds of 55%. That means we have to win this fight 55% of the time to break even at 1.80 odds. Nicholas Dalby, out of 23 professional fights, 14 have gone to decision, but in his 3 wins in the UFC, they're all by decision. So he doesn't win by finishing people at this level. Claudio Silva has 17 professional fights. He's never been finished. So we just think this is a tremendous advantage, a tremendous lean to the over here. 70% of the time we think this fight's going to go over, so we're getting 15% implied value here. Take the over 2.5. We are laying 1.87 units to win 1.5. Next fight, we have Jack Hermansson versus Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis opened at 1.75 at Pinnacle. Jack Hermansson, as of this taping, is the slight favorite at 1.88. We actually agree with this sentiment. Chris Curtis is getting 60% of the experts' money, yet the line is violently moving in Jack Hermansson's favor. And so everybody, once again, who's betting $500, the metaphor sticks, is betting on Hermansson. Everybody betting $50 is betting on Chris Curtis. We love Chris Curtis. He steps in like Donald Cerrone used to, where he helps out the UFC, gets these short notice fights. All of his fights that he was the underdog in, he's been getting knockouts. The first time he was a favorite, he had a nice decision win over that jiu-jitsu player. He's not coming to my mind, Rodolfo Vieira. This is now, he's back to being the favorite. We think he's overvalued. A few things going against Chris Curtis here. He's traveling across the pond. It's a 5-hour difference. Hermansson is from Sweden, so it's in his backyard. Massive advantage. Chris Curtis just fought on June 25th, so that's under a month. So that's very tight turnaround. We think that that's a lot of adversity. He's got a wrist injury, apparently, that he came into the last fight with. And so that's less than a month is unheard of. It's almost like, and especially going to decision in a hard fought 15-minute fight where he got significant striked a ton. That's like 2 NBA teams playing, and then that NBA team playing again against a fresh team later on that day. It's just unheard of. He's just at a massive disadvantage. And then he's going to be shorter, and he's going to be probably about 20 pounds less on fight night. He's a natural welterweight. Hermansson cuts to middleweight, and so Hermansson's going to be a lot bigger as well. It's also a massive step up in competition. Curtis has never fought someone inside the top 15. Hermansson is ranked 8th or 9th. And so just a lot of things. Can Chris Curtis win this fight? Of course he can, but we have to go with the odds here. We're getting basically even odds here. We just have to win this fight about 53% of the time to break even. We think that Hermansson is 65% to win this fight. So unfortunately, the action man, we're going to have to go against him this time. Next fight, we have 2 bets on the main event. Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes. What a great fight this is going to be. It's this whole card is better than UFC 277 next week on a fight night. It's amazing for a fight night. We're very lucky to have this card. You have Tom Aspinall, who has a kickboxing advantage over Curtis Blaydes. Curtis Blaydes, of course, is probably the best heavyweight of all time in terms of wrestling, but we don't even give him that advantage necessarily. I'm not ready to concede that. Tom Aspinall has amazing jiu-jitsu on the ground, and certainly in the first round or two is probably going to be equal to or better than Blaydes in the wrestling department. Now, we don't know what Aspinall's gas tank is going to be like, so if this fight goes past 2 rounds, even gets late into the second round, Aspinall could be in big trouble. But we think Aspinall's about 60% to win here. He showed that he can handle his nerves in this home crowd. Sometimes that can be a disadvantage, like Derek Lewis in Houston. Aspinall's proven in the first time he fought in front of that giant crowd that he can handle his nerves and not have an adrenaline dump on the way out and in the first round. So we think there's no reason to get off the hype train right now. Tom Aspinall has the advantage. Take him. It's 1.80 at a lot of places, at a lot of the outlets. Last bet on this card, we have the under 3.5 in the Aspinall-Blaydes fight. You could go fight doesn't go to decision. We think there's more value in the under 3.5. Right now it's at 1.71 at some of the places where you can get it best at. Coolbet has prices like that. 1.74 you can find at some of the other outlets. We think that this fight, Tom Aspinall's never been out of the second round. We think that whoever gets going, it's going to be Tom Aspinall early or Curtis Blaydes late. If whoever gets going is going to look like a 5-1 favorite here. So Curtis Blaydes better watch himself in that first round, but if he can get out of it, then he's probably going to be able to take Aspinall into deep waters that he's never been in, and finish him. So the under 3.5 is our play there. That's 8 plays for you. It's the most plays we've ever given out. We were up over 51 units last year. We're up over 15 this year. Always remember to keep those unit sizes small, between 1% and 3% of your bankroll. That's going to make sure that you're in things for the long run. And always remember that friends don't let friends gamble without math. We'll see you next week for a video for UFC 277. Bye for now.